Hey guys, Coach Ben here, bigbenchas.com, and today we're going to talk about tucking in the shirted bench press. Now this is a tremendously important topic when it comes to equipped bench pressing. The tuck is something that many lifters struggle with, and something that is going to make it much easier for you to touch in a bench shirt and make that bench shirt work better for you. So I recruited a man that needs no introduction, Jimmy Kolb. He is one of the strongest bench pressers out there. He has multiple world records. He has a 1050 single ply bench. It's a world record, biggest single ply bench of all time, and you can see him in training, constantly moving weight, 1100 plus, 1200 plus pounds in a bench shirt. So this guy knows a thing or two about tucking in a shirt. You can see him on Instagram at Kolb Strong, also his Patreon channel, which has great information as well. So Jimmy is going to take it from here and tell you a little bit about the importance of tucking in a bench shirt.
Tucking the elbows in the bench press is one of the most important aspects of benching, specifically if you're a geared or equipped lifter. Now when I raw bench, I reverse grip, so I naturally have to tuck anyway. It's the nature of the way the lift works. But when I'm going in my shirt, what I want to try and do at the very beginning of the lift, as soon as I crack my elbows to come down for the eccentric portion, I go ahead and I tuck a little bit and ride that tuck down in what's called the groove, or the path of most resistance. So I'm coming down that path of most resistance. I want to keep the bar there. Let the shirt work, do what it's designed to do, and open up and stretch. Now when I come down to the bottom, what you don't want to do is lose your patience, and out of frustration, trying to get a weight to touch in a tight shirt, take it out of the groove, further down towards the belly, and dumping the weight into your belly. I've seen athletes do this, and what I tell them to do, and it sounds kind of crazy sometimes, I say, be patient. You have to be very patient when you get down there in a very tight shirt. Take a big gulp of air, tuck your elbows, ride that groove down where it's supposed to be. If it will not go, no matter what you do, shoot the weight back up, load more weight on, and it will touch. You have to make it touch in that right spot. If it won't, if there's another little tip that if it won't touch, you can tuck a little bit harder than you would normally. It will naturally bring the bar down, but you're not going to lose it and dump it into your belly. I see athletes do that all the time. They come down, it won't touch, they go further down, it might touch, and if they don't dump it, they then have to pull the bar back into the groove before they can even begin the press. Wastes a ton of energy. So keep your tucking to a minimum. Keep some patience down in the bottom of the lift to make sure you make that shirt do what it's designed to do. Open up, stretch, come down there, slam it home, get some big bench press.
So now that we heard from one of the best bench pressers out there on how to tuck in a bench shirt, I'm going to show you a little bit more about how to actually go about executing that tuck and what it should feel like. So I'm going to use a handy dandy ram here to help me illustrate how to tuck in a bench shirt. The reason I'm wearing this is because it is a very difficult concept to teach and show when you're handling big weights, because typically when someone is starting to learn this process, the first thing I'll tell them is do this with very light weights. Okay, weights that you probably aren't even going to be able to touch, but start there and then you can work up from there, because when you're under heavy weight, you're not going to have a chance to really practice this, because at that point it's kind of fight or flight, right? You have weight that is going to potentially crush you. You are going to do everything in your power to stay in a groove that you're familiar with, and you're not going to really kind of skate outside the box and learn something new at that point in time. So this is a great tool to help learn and illustrate how to tuck in the bench shirt. So the way I would explain it is, at first when you're coming down with a weight, it's not too far off from what you would do raw, all right? But as you're getting into where the shirt is really starting to create resistance for you, that is when you're going to begin this tucking process that is going to feel very different than from what you might be used to raw benching. And it's going to be a dramatic tuck. And the way I'd like someone to think about it is not necessarily just tucking the elbows, but creating a harder bend to the bar, keeping the wrist strong, bending into the bar more and more, all right, because you still want to keep that back tension. You want to keep a strong wrist position to the bar, so you're bending those elbows in, and that is going to aid in getting that touch and as Jimmy said, stay in the path of most resistance so that that shirt is helping work for you. So I'm going to show you what that looks like with just an empty bar. Okay, now I have to use my back with this light of weight here, pretty much weightless, because I need to actually pull this bar down. And this isn't too far off, and when you work in a lighter shirt, you are actually going to have to start to pull the bar down. It's very much like a raw groove. Raw groove, raw groove, raw groove. Now, when that shirt really starts to lock up on me, hence the Titan Ram here, now I'm going to start tucking, reaching the belly, I get the touch, and then now I have to compensate for how much I touched, or tucked, I have to now fire back. All right, row down, tuck, and back. Row down, it's a raw groove, tuck, and throw back. Okay, so again, very much like a raw groove, where bring it down, pull it down as far as you can, and then start to tuck right as that shirt is creating a lot of resistance for you. The reason you don't want to tuck immediately into the weight, you don't want to over dramatize the touch here, because now when you're coming down, you don't really have room to tuck anymore. I've already done it. So now I'm kind of left to just pull straight down. It's going to make it much harder to try to get an efficient touch, and you're probably going to fall out of groove one way or the other. The important thing is when you're looking at your forearm angle, what you're trying to avoid when you're tucking is ever getting into a position where your forearm starts to come forward on you, because that is insinuating a dump touch. You're going to have to somehow scoop underneath it to throw it back. It's very inefficient, won't lead to a good press, probably won't feel very good. When you're traveling down that weight, the important thing is you look at my forearms from the side, they are always angled, ready to throw back into the rack. Okay, they're never in a position where they're out here. This will feel comfortable if you're a raw bencher, you're familiar with this, but in a bench shirt, to really get the most out of the shirt, that forearm needs to be lined up, ready to fire back at all times. So that's how much you need to be tucking. So thanks for watching, guys. I want to give another shout out to Jimmy Kolb for putting his input on this video. Again, you can search him on Instagram at Kolb Strong and see what he's up to next. Coach Ben here. And you know where to find me. You can meet me. Thanks for watching the video. If you want to learn more about how to increase your bench press, consider joining us in our Better Benching Academy. To learn more, simply click the link down below in the description box or visit bigbenchas.com/BB Academy. I'll see you there.